bypass for a Witch Doctor. What is this MVP play?
I don't actually think that Mineski is going to pick it up. It would be too current meta for them to pick that hero up.
Is that the reason? Like, Mineski are just a bunch of rebels. Without a cause right now.
It's more like you develop your own playstyle. So if you don't have anyone that actually brings the hero into the scene and you get crushed by it all over again, then you don't get that incentive of, alright, I'm actually going to pick this hero. Looking at the bans though, I actually think, like, to me, like, this hope of having Wisp I was like, maybe they have a chance getting Wisp. Wisp can always, like, have that snowball effect. But yeah, it obviously is banned out by Team Malaysia here, and I think that's it's a good ban for them, because they realize, alright, like, they actually have a decent shot against us having that Wisp. And the response here from Mineski is actually picking up the Witch Doctor as well as the Bristleback. It's a very common opening, actually. It's not surprising at all, and instead of having a Wisp plus Viper, this opening seems very casual to me.
It's a lot stronger. Like, I know NIP were doing it. A lot of the Western teams have done this. A lot of the Chinese teams are doing this, where you're just able to get away with running dual lanes. Where you have someone like Witch Doctor and Bristleback, or Dazzle and Bristleback, like, just these restoration style heroes.
I mean, it's the big factor to these two heroes is AoE physical damage. It's a lot of AoE physical damage. If once Witch Doctor obviously gets the Aghanim's, but it's pretty strong. And the pickup by Team Malaysia here with a Lion is just, you have a lockdown on Axe, followed by a finger. It's a pretty simple combo as well, and you have a good support with a Lion.
The other part of this too is something which I know, like, I cast with Fear 2 weekends ago, and one thing which he was flagging was the desire to walk away from teams that require mech. So you can use things like Dazzle and Witch Doctor to give you that life, like, restoration without requiring to spend huge amounts of mana as well with the mech, as well as money to make that happen. So instead you just get these tankier style heroes who have some regeneration abilities. That's why, like, Juggernaut with a healing ward as well can be put into that category, because you're not required to get the good mech timing off, always fires the full squad. You just make your heroes really difficult to kill so you can survive that way.
5 seconds.
Yeah, definitely. No, I get that point, and it's not bad. I think
Reserve
taking Witch Doctor and mech to me has, like, you have an overtime healing, like, you have the sustain. I guess healing ward gives that sustain as well. Like, if you get damage, you use the mech to heal you up. But in theory, like, mech is kind of this 5-on-5 item. You go in, it provides not only HP but also gives you an armor boost. So
but it's only if you're going to play, like, the 5-on-5
yeah,
style.
exactly.
Like,
it often gets punished too much by split push.
Yep.
But Racer pickup, it's just like, we're like, alright, we just pick up the same heroes that Team Malaysia has. And
if it works for them, let's give it a shot ourselves. But the downside about picking up your core so early on, like, that's actually why I like the way Mush, like, he bypasses the sniper for his second pickup, and he goes directly into the line, because he understands, like, the healing over time for a Witch Doctor. How do you try and counter that? You just have burst damage, like the Finger of Death. And heroes like Bristleback, they really require their mana. So mana drain is perfect for a line up against Bristleback. You drain him dry, then you've lost your damage output from the Bristleback.
It's not that easy though, because Bristleback actually has a quite high intelligence gain, and having a magic stick, because his spells don't require a lot of mana. It's like, I get the point. It's easier to do it with a book, and I was about to say I would expect an A pickup because they have the combo. Against Witch Doctor, having the sustainable heal is actually quite good to have A as a follow-up. Now they have two ways of initiating. You have Axe with a Lion, and Axe, Lion plus A, so you always have the Ice Blast in combination with a Lion Finger or with a Call. It's nothing, like, you never seen before, but it's a quite effective combo.
Not to mention, it really strengthens the lanes here for Team Malaysia. When you can add something like that Chilling Touch this early on. I don't know if they can completely zone out the Bristleback on that offlane. I also don't know if they're just going to be the Bristleback on the offlane.
I mean, it could be. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
I would probably...
It's open for both.
I would probably aim towards the offlane as Bristol, just because I feel like having the focus on, like, against an AA, having a focus on a Bristol that forms I feel like it's not as effective to me because you jump or like you want to sit in front and then you put all your resources into a hero that's gonna get Ice Blast Finger potentially. It feels like it's not gonna be as effective to me. Follow-up pick the Shaker on the side of Mineski. It's good control, good AoE.
Yeah.
Definitely very good draft.
I'm happy to see this hero. Lena, for me, like I was actually asked the question. I actually can't remember who asked me this question the other day. They said, "What's your favorite hero to watch in the current meta?" My answer was Lena, because I love the way that she could just be so aggressive in the laning phase early on, and actually has the ability to transition into a really, really strong mid game. Like you've always had that whole Yule Scepter into your own attack. Like it's nothing new. Like we had it with like old school Latrax as well. But like with the Lena, to be able to have that burst damage, you can get solo kills. Even as a support hero, you can also get these solo kills. But having the Aghanims upgrade onto Lena, converting it into pure damage, that stuff's just brutal.
I mean, I think there's plenty of like ways to build up on Lena. I think the one thing that stands out to me in the Lena pick is it's a good counter to Racer on the mid lane, because you can actually just like Dragon Slave and you just push the waves, and Racer will not really get the chance to link you and get close to you. So in that sense, that's why Lena's picked so often in the current meta, is because he's really hard to shut down as a mid laner. He almost wins all mid matchups, and I'm actually I'm surprised on what they're gonna pick. To me, the best pick that Mineski can pick up right now would be a Zeus. I actually think if they would get a Zeus, it would be a very good pick for them.
You just see about like the initial damage. Like if you get Plasma Field to hit him and ulti, or you're just thinking lane presence.
Zeus is such an underrated hero right now. Like he's actually picked more often, but it's a hero that hardly loses mid lane, because you can't really stop it. The range on him just getting a chain lightning, like farm is crazy. Mag, preferable hero by them, so it's not very surprising. It just gives Lena a quite easy lane at this point, because it shows that it's going to be either a contest with the Racer or a Racer short.
It could actually be an offlane Magnus.
I doubt it, because you've seen the mid laner playing the Mag, so
true.
You most likely don't want to, like Mag is one of those heroes you want to be comfortable on, and I would be surprised if they just change it up. But you're right, it can happen, but I'd rather see the Mag as a mid laner again.
It's mainly because of watching Vici Gaming over the last couple of days, because they've, like, Ice has been playing that Magnus on the offlane. He did it in two of his games. I'm crushed in one of them, though.
I'm totally not against Mag offlane. I think it's not a bad offlane at all.
Initially, he was always playing an offlane, then his skill the range got nerfed on it. And they just fell off, and then what's changed that makes Magnus work on an offlane now?
Guess it's more like the power of the hero overall, and the change that he sort of had was the Empower going through BKB, which makes him somewhat stronger. Like when they rebuffed that, so. In that sense, you always can run late game. Like you only need like 2 levels in Skewer, and then you just work on Empower. You stack for your carry, and you can abuse that Empower. So in that sense, it's not bad. But most likely it's gonna be the Mag mid here though. I think that the lineup, the reason why I'm a bit skeptical about the Lena pick and why I thought Zeus would have been a really good pickup for Mineski is because the lineup right now screams to me like it's very fragile. Is really fragile. With the last pick, Morphling, it's another sort of squishy hero, but the good part right now on the lineup of Mineski, where Morph is not going to trouble, is that there is no silence. The big counter to Morphling is either A, of course, or silence.
Yeah, and you don't have that. In fact, are we going to start counting stuns again? With Paralyzing Cask, Skewer, a little... it's RP and Fissure and Ekasam. Like the Urshika's got a large amount of lockdown, but up against someone like a Morphling, like if he jumps out to a replicate and you're blowing all of that, then the Lena and the Lion, the Axe are all going to move on top of you.
I think that the lineup of Mineski has kind of everything you need. You have enough lockdown. You have pretty good AoE damage distribution with a Shaker, Mag, RP, Bristol Spines. Race is also kind of AoE-ish. I think the lineup is completely fine. I actually think that the more all-in lineup is on the side of Team
Malaysia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because
But that's what happens when you draft so early. Like when you draft like a leader in the mid, you're drafting to win the early game.
no, it's true. I mean, the reason they picked Lina, of course, is because they expected a Razor mid. Like, I think Lina is a good counter for that, because he can lane against the Razor quite well. And that's how they countered it, with having the Mag pick up. So Mag just goes against Lina. Mag does always fine against almost every hero middle, most likely any hero actually. And then you switch the Razor to the safe lane. I hope I'm right with that.
I can't tell you yet because we don't really have any items bought up apart from boots on Vash.
You have Trolley on Mag? Wait, what is happening?
People just playing their safe heroes. Like, I don't think the players are going to dictate the lanes in this game.
No, because Trolley was the slaughter player from
Yeah.
last game. It's the carry.
Yeah. But at the same time, he was playing on that off lane. But he is the #1 position.
So they might want to contest and have a Bristol short and a Razor middle. I'm not sure. Well, we have to see what happens with the lanes. I would be surprised actually if they would try lane with a Mag, because it's not very good.
No, well, what's the point of it? Like the whole point of Mag these days is to get your early levels up on him, so you have your RP, you have your points of power coming in, so then you can buff the Bristol, and you want to be stacking up all the camps, so then Bristol can come over and farm them up too.
I mean, right now, if you look at the items, we can see that Razor already purchased boots. If Razor would go middle, against the Lina, I would not purchase boots, because you're gonna trouble. You have a lot of trouble sustaining your regeneration.
He looks like he should be going to the safe lane.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because like the boots up against the Axe is the better choice, because then you can make sure you get the static link off on the Axe without having to come too close, that you'll get spun on or called. So that makes sense. And where they're going to head. So it is going to actually be Jay heading down as the Magnus towards the bottom lane, but he's built to go mid. He's got the money where she picks up the 100 and then gets the early bottle.
It's gonna be a Mag middle. So they're contesting with a Razor.
Yeah, they're going to. So it's Razor, Witch Doctor, and Earth on the aggro lane, and then Cuckoo is the Bristol back on the safe lane.
I actually think that's a mistake, because Axe wins a Bristol. He wins Bristol quite easily, actually. Bristol can't man up against Axe at all. He has too little armor to sustain.
Was she? Just saying hello to Vash as well as to Jay. The only way Magnus would catch up to him then is to skewer in, and that's not going to really help him. They do prep their... well, they go for the D ward, then they start doing their block wards.
One thing to point out is that they actually saw Bristol set that ward, because Axe was not spotted when he set his ward. And then Bristol ran down to set a lane ward. So they know that he has a lane ward right now. That's one ward used for them.
I always worry when Bristleback comes down from this angle.
This could be a first blood attempt.
Because he can't see above this line.
No, I could totally see a first blood happening, because Bristol, if he goes for the rune, which he is, it was too early.
Yeah.
They should have waited, because there was an easy first blood there for Team Malaysia. He would have gone for the rune for sure. And they had no vision. No one was scouting for him at all. Early hacks into stun, he would have been definitely dead there.
Team Malaysia have, I wouldn't say mixed up their lanes, but Ohio is now going to be up on the top.
And you can see, they gave him a sentry ward, because they scouted out that ward.
Yeah.
And he has no vision anymore.
Which Doctor is... Did Mushy see him? Yeah, Mushy could clearly see him in the tree line. And that he was waiting a little bit long before he attacked to allow KOXY time to move up as well. So he gets a lot of damage into the Witch Doctor. The Fidget's already been thrown out to do the block, but KOXY is not going to try and jump on him at all. They did level up Waveform.
Not today.
So no extra stats for now.
On the top lane you can see that the lane is kind of troublesome right now for Ohio. Like I said, you know, like Axe should win that lane easily, but I think he did not expect himself to face a one-on-one. Like he would have never gone for boots if he would have known that it would be a one-on-one. No. So in that sense, I guess it goes, you know, like in the favor of Mineski here, but I still think it's not the smartest play.
Yeah. I'm still looking to that middle lane for our first blood, because that's a level 2 slave, and Magnus is already at 170 HP. So Jay's gonna be so careful here in the mid. Like, yes, he's gonna find levels, and yes, he's got bottle charges up his sleeve. But this Lena is now 8-2 up against the Magnus, who still only managed to find one last hit. I know he he's gonna find some more underneath his in between the towers now, but he's trying to farm underneath the towers as this Magnus.
What Ohio is doing is very smart. He's just skipping creeps right now, and Bristol is gonna have trouble sustaining.
They're really gonna go here on Mushy with Malediction as well as the Razor. This is actually our first blood. He's gonna tick out anyway. The Malediction actually missed, but Lion's still gonna go down. So again, Mineski, game number 2, and they do what they did in game number 1. They achieve first blood.
It's pretty good, but you know, like the problem I see, like going further in this laning stage, Morphling sure is a hero that, like, he wants to get farm, but he's also a hero that can sustain on the lane. It's hard to kill a Morphling. It's going to be annoying for sure. Razor will get good farm, but oh, and they're going.
Yeah, Paralyzing Cast's going to bounce down to the Ancient Apparition. They got enough damage to kill him off with the Witch Doctor. Okay, Oxbo's going to waveform himself away to safety. So Mineski again. Aggro tri-lane's paying off, but it's still only the supports. And I'm still seeing the timing for Axe being quite good. Because Ohio, with all this creep skipping, Bristleback wants to try and come over and contest him. But he can't really do that.
I think it's time to... You see the 2 supports rotating bottom again, and this bottom out. I think Mushi should try to get that level 2, get the Hex, and rotate. Like, they should just rotate top or mid lane. Focus on other lanes so they can, you know, like, release the pressure off that bottom lane, so the supports have to rotate as well.
But what lane can he really do anything in apart from mid lane?
He can go top lane, I think. Top would be not too hard. If Axe skips the lane, and then Brista is gonna have like 5 creeps on him, with what's it called? You have the Battle Hunger on top of him. He's gonna be slowed down. You have a stun. He can go down. Like, he can definitely go down. Axe is almost 6 as well, so it's gonna be a lot easier to do that transition.
This middle lane is just hilarious. I don't think there's been a time in the last 2 minutes I've looked towards this middle lane where Jay has been over 200 HP. Like, now is the first moment I'm going to see him at that.
But it's another incident that you, in theory, can gank that lane quite easy. Like, getting something out of it, even if you just camp there, right? And you just sit there, and you hide, right? Like, you know that you...
It's dive time, man. You got your wish. You got your wish on top, so Battle Hungered up, so you got your movement speed. Into the call. Just got to drop him down a little bit lower so you can bring him in range for the Axe, but you're attacking into his back. You force the rotation out from the Witch Doctor, as Mushi will run himself away.
It's quite poorly executed because they could do the same. They know that he doesn't have a ward top. They removed the ward, and he could do exactly like what I said before. He walks behind the tower, he takes the wave, Bristol needs to tank a wave, so they would take 0 damage in the tower. Because the wave is obviously not cleared up, and then they walk in to kill him. That would be like the clean execution for that kill, but they don't go for it. Now Line is gonna set up for middle.
Yep. Actually got given a clarity from the Magnus to do this. What's the vision? Okay, he's just had a vision. He's just had a vision of Jay. And Jay, too far up. Skewer, he's gonna get the stun to start with. There's still a Hex available, but Laguna Blade's available for the Lena. So, well, Magnus goes down.
But here you have your rotation, right? You know that Witch Doctor rotate at top. That's exactly what Team Malaysia needs to do here. They have to rotate because they lost bottom lane, and they need to make up for it. How do they do that?
They've crushed the other 2 lanes. They've completely crushed the other 2 lanes.
I mean, top lane is still going, I think, is going alright. If you look at net worth, Bristol does fine, but like I said, it's favorable for Axe. And, you know, like, when you have these kind of lanes, and Axe can struggle, you know, like against the tri lane, Axe needs to go jungle, most likely. He's not going to get much top, while Bristol can potentially get some XP. With the contesting, that's what I mean, like you give the favorable matchup for an Axe. And I think that's kind of a mistake.
Well, Axe, he doesn't have any mana for anything else. He's got 6 tick charge, but that's not enough for a call as well as the culling.
Especially, especially because Team Malaysia relies so much on an early Blink Dagger on an Axe. Like, every setup of them is based on an Axe setup. Like,
but the funny thing is, like, without the Axe, because he's going for Vanguard.
I mean, he has a good time, so, like, if, you know, like, if they can stack up ancients for him, that would be something for the support to do right now, is that they stack, because if he finishes Vanguard, and let's say you have a 4-stack, 5-stack on ancients, he's gonna have a blink dagger, so the timing on a blink dagger is gonna be really good. Anyway, like despite getting a Vanguard first.
Yep. It actually just makes the move more powerful when you have that blink dagger. How many times have you looked at like heroes like Batrider? Oh, I get a blink dagger, but you've got basic boots or there's no 4-staff available. Yeah. But if you can jump in with something, and with the axe, it's all about survivability. You jump in, you get the call off, your armor goes through the roof, you've got nice amounts of life points because of the Vanguard, even a little bit of block as well because of the Vanguard. And let's let the axe go to work.
I wonder why. I mean, Racer can't see the supports right now, but he's playing so passive. He's so afraid.
I'd actually be more worried for this top lane. Yep, that TP support's on the way in, and it's the Lina. She doesn't have mana for a Laguna Blade, but with the call, all it's doing is prepping up for that. All they wanted was the dunk. And they're going to claim it as well. Razor actually did back up a long way. He took considerable amounts of damage from the Chilling Touch, as well as Waveform.
I'm very surprised if I look at the net worth of Razor and Morph. How can Morph
2.3k?
How can be ahead? Like they were winning that bottom lane. They got a first blood and a follow-up kill, and Razor's still below in net worth.
Jay's dead. Well, maybe not. He's gonna commit the RP. Mushi follows up with the Hex. They want enough damage to kill off the Magnus, which they will have, and then can move into the Witch Doctor. The Fiery Soul is only level 1, but with the Slave it's enough damage to get a double kill for the Lina.
That was hot.
This Lina is now 3 for 0. That Yule set was gonna be coming up so early.
Yeah, there's two ways. It can be an eel setup, which is like the more common item, I guess, or you would go into Shadowblade, which has kind of the same effect, because you can, you just don't have the eels effect, but you would Shadowblade in, and then people have to be afraid. So you have to invest into sentry wards and whatnot.
Your damage output would be good with a Shadowblade, considering she went phase boots as opposed to anything else. So
you still have the instant kill factor, right?
Oh, I need to get away from this. TP. We'll be out to safety. It's getting stacked up too much for that Bristleback. Oh, so they're having also a bit of fun with KYXY in bottom lane, but the Witch Doctor, he's only level 4. There's not much he can really do. At the same time, Ancient Apparition's lower. He's still sitting at level 3, and they're going to give him the space on the top lane to also find farm, because his net worth is the lowest on the map. He's below 500 net worth on this Ancient Apparition.
He doesn't have boots.
Yep. It's actually a naked AA.
Well, I mean, to be fair, all he needs at this point is level 6.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
He's not too far from it. He's gonna get some XP on top lane, as it is abandoned right now by the Dire team. And we can see a smoke rotation by Mushi.
Yeah, the smoke's gonna break though. But they jump up, blink call, and realize it's the one and only place that someone could be. And Magnus, yep, Culling bladed out higher. The Finger of Death dropped him low enough for it. And they actually just used that to rotate to the top lane to try and now have a crack at Razor. So the Ancient Apparition's here. He starts with the Vortex, but they need more help. With the Blink in, he found the creep wave, which means there can be multiple spins here. And yep, with the help from the Lina. Throwing out that Dragon Slave. They find themselves 2 very quick pickoffs on 2 of the cores from Mineski.
Dire's structures are fortified.
And here's your flash farming Bristleback.
Dire's top tower.
Try and get him back from. He's got 4k right now, and he's 1.1, 1.4k behind the axe as well as the Lina respectively.
I'm still so surprised by how little farm the Racer has, because he was in a winning lane, and he was below a net worth of the Morph lane, and there should never be a case that happens. It's the winning. It was the only real winning lane of them.
Yeah.
And it should make up for it, but he's just not there. And we see Facefuls on Morphling. I'm actually quite surprised by that.
Team Malaysia style. They're mid in their safe lane, just decided to go the face boots. Is it so you can try and escape from someone like the Bristleback, for example? Trigger the face boots that Nezuku can't control you, or is it to get you out of range of the Razor static link?
I mean, the upside I can see is that Morphling generally has a very low movement speed, so you can kind of chase with it. But I still think power treads are a lot better on the hero personally, but it's I guess it's also preference. Like, what do you make out of an item? If you like phase boots, sure, you can go phase boots. It's not like he's gonna get a dig in on Morphling, so it's not gonna have the biggest impact, but yeah, I guess it's his preference.
11.5 minute Eel Scepter over on the Lina.
Yeah, so he goes for the standard Eel Scepter, which is, I guess, a safe choice. I mean, it's sustainability as well, right? Going for the Shadow Blade is, I guess I wouldn't say riskier play, but it's more uncommon.
The quill the quill spray is revealing the fact that the Bristleback is here. They have enough control that again that's going to dunk him down. Commit the Laguna Blade. The cooldown's so low for the Lina's ultimate too.
You can actually see that the Axe went for a dagger after getting the ring. So he did not finish the Vanguard before getting a dagger.
I love that. The bottle manipulation is so stupid, but Vash is down again. It's a simple Eel Scepter run him. But KOXY TP'd out and he used both of his bottle charges on the Lina. Obviously it doesn't stack the effect. It's just funny to watch it happen. And refreshed up the Lina's bottle.
So A is almost gonna finish his level 6. So you will expect the Ice Blast ganks coming up between Axe plus A. And Axe is... oh, he just has a sneaky play right there. He just jumped into the trees to save a ward in mid.
I thought he was actually going to go for like an initiation. Unfortunately, he was watched walking up because he was sitting right next to the secret shop for a bit.
It's still very interesting because they know that he was there, right? So now they'd be like, alright, Axe must still be there.
Until someone walks up there, but who's really going to walk in range of the Axe when Lina's also hunting you across the map?
So you can see Mineski back into their pattern of walking around random. Like, again, I think they don't really know what should we do right now. I guess they're waiting. The obvious one would be waiting for the dagger on Mac and trying to go for a smoke gank and, you know, like get a kill. But he's not too far from it, I guess. Like, he's not 200 gold away. It's just, it's so, I don't know, it feels like kind of random to me that, why does Trolley play Mac, you know? He was the carry, then he turns to the mid lane, playing the same hero that the other mid laner played right before.
Well, isn't that meant to be the good sign of a team where you can be more dynamic with the positioning of your players?
It's just that it's the same hero, right? Like, I guess if there would be a preference of, alright, you have another hero and there's player preference, I see it, but it's the same hero.
Oh man, you can see it coming from a mile away, and that's going to be a 2-kill advantage for Team Malaysia and the tier 2 tower in bottom lane. The Observer Ward was watching him farm up the Ancient Stack the entire time, and Mushy having his level 6 Finger of Death, the Ice Blast. Like, I don't even know how you would prepare for that. Unless you see them coming, you can't prepare for that.
At this point, I mean, they just picked up the dagger on Mac, so they are rotating bottom lane to potentially defend that. The first thing that Mac should do, though, is get a smoke on him. Mac is all about, like I try to explain, vision. To set up a good RP, you can't be in vision.
Yeah.
And Shaker's picking that smoke up right now, and they're preparing for a smoke gank right now.
We were talking about this too in the last game. It was like, where was the usage of smokes? Like Mineski, like how many smokes have you currently got in stock? And right now, like you're going to use one, but you still got another 2 in stock.
I was just checking if they smoked up in vision since they have the observer ward down, but he smoked just outside of vision, so they don't actually know that they smoked.
But there's still a lot of support from Team Malaysia, so even if you do initiate in, like what are you gonna? You're gonna solo or RP over on the Morphling?
They actually have not seen each other, and as you can see, they ping up on the hill, but they will figure out that there's no one there, and Morph just passed them. Yep. But neither team has seen each other.
Morphling will show himself now up on the top lane. And Ohio's actually waiting inside the Roche pit. I don't know what he's really waiting for. He's actually going to blink up to block the ancient area. That's just douchery at the next level. They at least finally see one person. That's the Bristleback.
And I think have they seen Lion? I think they might have seen Lion pass by as well.
Well, there's no dire observer one, so
it was daytime though. So
oh, now they throw it out, but instantly Witch Doctor. That was his sentry he was throwing up to go for the D ward, so they'll know the observer ward's up there. problem is they can't do anything about it. Because the vision for that sentry ward's going to disappear before Vash can... Yep, he walks in and they can't attack anything. While Axe, Blink, Cole, catching out Ohio. It's, sorry, catching out the Earthshaker. Morphley's going to waveform in with the Adaptive Strike. He'll take a kill there. And it seems that Magnus ends up throwing away his life to Yule, Scepter, Laguna Blade, and Light Striker Rain. Another tier 1 tower's going to drop.
This game is just getting out of control. They can't stabilize at all. Magnus died. They try to go for the smoke gang. I actually think they need to go for another one because they want to have a chance at coming back.
I love too the build that came out from Rishi. Like, I was talking about the mana drain, you're talking about like the intelligence gainer for Bristleback's really good. But for a level 11 Bristleback who's building into what looks to be an SMY, what are you going to get? Like, he's got 572 mana, but you're draining with the line with a level 4 mana drain, 120 points of mana a second. Doesn't take long to drain the Bristleback dry.
No, that's true. He still has stick charges though, so it's not going to be that fast. But
true. You got 10 of them there.
It's a tool.
It's just another one of those things where, okay, well, what's Bristleback doing? He's firing off stick charges just to get mana back, not life.
I mean, at the same time, I don't know. It just feels like right now, so you can see the grouping up bottom. They're trying to go for that tower push. They still have the RP up, but they need to get another, like...
You've got Finger as well as Laguna available too.
And they have double dagger. No, actually, just Lina? No, Lina did not go for dagger, but they have a dagger on...
Lion's got his dagger.
Yeah,
you got double dagger, because you got it from
double.
Axe as well as Lion.
Yeah.
And they send the replicant in first. Look at Magnus' position. He's staying in the trees looking for a great position for an RP. He can technically get 3 from his current position, but he goes for a 1. He takes the leader on the side, looking for the kill. Defensive Yule Scepter can be used if required, but the Earthshaker being controlled up by that call from Ohio, stopping the play. That Echo Slam doing minimal to no damage. The Light Striker Ray will finish the job. They do at least pick off the leader with the Magnus moving down for him. But it's a 2-for-1 trade-off now. Mushi draining out that mana. Bristleback, there's no stick charge that's going to go to work. So he's got something to play around with. But the Adaptive Strike from Morphling finishes off the Magnus. And now, a one-call man. KYXY is here with the double damage rune. And that's where the extra deeps came in for Team Malaysia. They lose to Lina, yes, but they brought down 4 players from Mineski.
That was actually how the 5-on-5 started off was actually quite a misplay by the Morphling, because he let himself get drained. They're trying to kill Lion middle.
Yeah, he's got Blink Dagger. He avoided the Fissure damage. With the Observer Ward, now the call. Have they got enough damage? They do have enough with that Ice Blast. That's a real good cover area, which means they can beat into the Earthshaker too. Paralyzing Cask. It's going to bounce up to Mushi. He'll blink further away just so it doesn't get anywhere near the creep wave. An Axe. Unfortunately, that Malediction's going to make it impossible for him to Blink Dagger up. So they won't be able to find another kill. But this is 18-3 to Team Malaysia. Like, what's even now? We're up to 14k net worth as well as experience.
And there's almost an Axe finished on Lina now as well. He's gonna have 16 very soon as well. Actually looking at the HP of the entire team of Mineski.
Are you wondering who he can one-hit?
Mag almost dies 1 hit. Witch Doctor dies 1 hit clearly. Shaker dies 1 hit. And Racer is just above dying. I mean, he dies in pretty much ulti plus slave, so...
Yep. But you have to remember too, there's 2 burst damages. Now you got Lion and Lina together. That's Finger plus Laguna. And he's managed to find an opening. Witch Doctor. Mushi is just turning into this man because the initial stun lets Ohio mop up the pieces. This is just such a dominant display from Team Malaysia. Is this game a little bit cleaner for Team Malaysia than game number 1? Because I know you're a little bit worried about
I mean,
game
it
number 1.
kind of is, but I feel like the fault is rather at Mineski's for how they distributed lanes. I feel like you're giving Axe the only, like, as you can see, that Axe was setting up almost every kill. Like, it's always call into Finger, into A Blast, into Lina.
Yep.
And they're giving Axe the free lane. Like, it's not like Axe is even in a matchup that, you know, he should lose. It's a matchup he should win. He plays against the Bristleback on that lane, and it's a winning lane for him. So you got to think of, like, when you just observe the Team Malaysia's lineup and how they're gonna achieve kills. It's clearly through Axe, at least in the very start.
Yep.
Getting that Blink Dagger. and they make it easy for them. So I would not say that Team Malaysia played that much better.
Is he gonna? Yeah, he's gonna commit the RP. The skew is still on cooldown. I gotta come back to why this is the case, because this is gonna cost him a kill. Mushi, he's thinking about jumping up when there's more support arriving. Gets the stun, and with a finger of death, the Earthshaker gets dead very, very quickly. Magnus able to skew himself away and then blink to safety. But that's a replicate. He has E-Blade. He's 100 gold short. But the axe jumps up. There's your call again over on the Witch Doctor. Morphling can jump into this replicant and potentially kill off the Witch Doctor as Ohio. The damage has been drained out of him for the moment. And finally the 4-star being used to get away. But no one from Mineski is going to really follow into this. You've already used RP. The ultimate from Raze is going to come on the cooldown. But yeah, the reason why Mag didn't have the skewer then is because he misblinked. Previously, he was going for the bottom rune, and he blinked himself onto this little hillside next to the secret shop, and then skewered down to get himself off the top. And because of that, that's why he couldn't skewer the hero back.
Either way, I think it would have not killed the Morphling. Like, they attempted that kill, but his waveform was still up. So, of course, it would have
just forced the fight to a safer area for Mineski.
That's true, but it's still like, you go for that RP, was it gonna be a kill? Most likely not. And we can see Lina having the axe finished now, almost level 16 as well, halfway to go. And yeah, coming back from this game, very unlikely. In the last game, I would say like, yeah, there's a shot.
Well, it's because we're looking at, like, we're thinking more about the slider amplification. The last game was like everyone is killable when you have that leveled up.
I mean, going back in the past of this game, actually, I would really like to see the CSing of the Racer, because you know the camp was blocked. It's not like they pulled and denied a lot of experience. They were winning the lane, so it must have been actually poor last sitting on the lane, because I can't see another explanation. Maybe the support tried to get try to steal his gold or something. But honestly, that should not happen.
Judging by the current net worth and the supports, I'm not going to say that was the case.
No, I can really only see the fault in Racer there in the laning, especially if you contest. I guess he started off with boots, like starting off with boots, and you don't follow up straight away with damage on you. Like, let's say you go straight face boots, so you amplify your damage, or you go into Basti, so you get a bit of more damage. The last thing with boots is kind of difficult, I guess. It's not that easy because Racer's damage is pretty low, but if you dominate the lane, it can't be that hard.
Okay, XY. It's getting nice. It's getting a little bit tapped up here by Mineski, but with the replica still available for another 2 seconds, he's just going to waveform and then jump straight back down to the bottom lane. While we're going to smoke gank coming out here from Team Malaysia. They put that observer ward just out of range of the sentry ward. The sentry, though, is kind of down to look for this ward, not the one deeper inside the lane.
Yeah.
But they couldn't find anybody, so hey, I think it looks like Roshan time. Leave the Lion sitting on top of the hillside. He's purposefully not killing off this dire sentry ward, because if he does, he reveals the positioning. So he just waits on the high ground, and now in comes Mineski. All smoked up, 4-star axe. He's got Blink Dagger off cooldown in 1 second time, and a potential 3-man call to buy space for the Lina. The Planter Field's going to hit him, and he cannot blink himself down. Laguna Blade flies out, but it's only, well, at this point, the Wish of Sky, the Figure of Death takes out the Razor. The Ice Blast also connected on the Earthshaker. He'll go back to base, but it's the Magnus who's trapped on the bottom. And Earthshaker, the Battle Hunker was ticking him down too, but it's not enough damage, and for some reason, Prospect is now solo inside the pit, and he will also drop 25-3. Roshan will go the way here of Team Malaysia.
I mean, that was actually the funny part of the way the fight turned out. You would think it was actually not that good for Team Malaysia here, attempting the Roche. Then Axe lands, and Bristol thinks in the time span of like 20 seconds he can take Roche alone, while keeping him with Quills up there on the hill so he can't blink down. Like, little did halfway through he was like, alright, this is not working, I'm getting bashed up by Roche and I'm not gonna make it in time. So he lowered the Roche as well for them, while not being in the team fight.
Wow.
Dire's structures are fortified.
That's just one of those things where everything's just going wrong for you. Now the Earthshaker as well. The Hex, can he get the stun off? No.
He started
Yeah,
off with
he
a stun.
started with a stun. Yeah. So there was not enough control for the Ice Blast to reach him in time. What is this AA sitting on too? It's a Hand of Midas, and okay, at least that's level 11.
Yeah.
But not much more on the AA. But considering he was naked 5 minutes into the game, I think he's okay with this.
He recovered quite well. He's gonna... He just doesn't want to pick up the point pussy yet. But yeah, he's obviously gonna go for the axe. That's the follow-up.
Actually, looking at this too, like Ash got now, like, because he got the Aghanim Scepter with a level 3 ultimate. So the threshold's now at 550.
So wondering, I think if I were him, he should either get a gap closer like a blink, or I think going back to the Shadow Blade is still good.
Bomb. Very, very quick bomb. And then Witch Doctor as well. He can actually almost Culling Blade him in a moment. He can have that Death Ward go to work, and now he can do it. Actually, not in time. He's going to spin in the end. Well, up on top lane, KOXY, he's made a new replicate, sending it to the east. Waveform's up, trying to bait him to follow him. While the replicate, Jay's trying to stick with it too, but Morphling just TP's out. So he can regenerate up and come back to the replicate. Meanwhile, Lina is taking out the middle lane. And yeah, now Jay's now running away from the replicate because the replicate's turned. He's realizing the Morphling's coming back up to full life. And with a tier 1 tower there, they can bring in more support. Yeah, jump in. Jay, waveform off target from KOXY.
Yeah, he should purchase the dagger in that time.
So, blink, skewer.
Oh my god.
In space, they need to attack him. They need to attack him. He can blink. No, there's your final attack. But a waveform over the tree line. The Rax has been taken in the meantime, but the support's finally going to come up. Axe. The call over on the Bristleback, that's pushing Razor back. The Ice Blast also on the way in. The force up, KOXY, he's far enough away. Bristleback, one more cool spray. He's going to get the kill with his physical damage, but you've also got the Ice Blast call onto Bristleback. He can't get away from this one. No mana for the Culling Blade, but the Cold Feet's still going to be able to latch underneath the tier 1 tower. Ohio's got 4 stacks up on that Quill Spray, but there's enough damage to still get the kill. He'll force stuff away from the creep wave. And middle lane mid-ranks, it did go down by the looks of it.
Yeah, this game officially turned into a pub.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yes. Yeah, I can't. I can't defend.
I mean, the thing is, these attempts on ganks are on a Morphling that you don't have a silence for. So getting a kill on a Morphling that you don't have a silence for is most likely not going to happen, because you don't have a burst either. You have an RP, and your best burst is going to be a Shaker that does not have a blink yet. So getting that damage off in time before Morph is going to morph strength up is unlikable. It's very unthinkable that is going to happen unless Morph is going to misplay. And he almost misplayed, like he did misplay in the very end. Like he went for this. All right, we win the game anyway. I'm going to get a blink dagger because I feel like getting a blink dagger. And I don't know. At this point, well, I guess it's the last game, so Mineski just plays for it, but coming back is...
It's difficult, to say the least. With Morphling dishing out this much damage, the axe is now... I don't know if this is meant to be a Lincoln Sphere, or if he's considering... Because there's no way he's considering a refresher orb. It doesn't make any sense over on an axe.
He's gonna get a refresher.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
What's the point of it then? Like, your Culling Blade's gonna come off cooldown straight away.
No, because you double call. That's pretty much the...
Really? That's all that comes down to. Call is now worth a refresher.
I mean, you would most likely... Okay, like, to justify a refresher, most of the time, you have a BKB before you get a refresher.
This is also Courier's dying. So both the Courier as well as the heroes go down. At least for those wonderful people. I don't know if we have item drops for ESL 1. Because all the ESL 1 games are free to watch inside the client. But if...
That's so nice.
It really is too. Like, we'll have the main events, the LAN finals. I believe we're going to have tickets on sale for that one. I believe there's a nice little compendium and other stuff, so you guys can help raise the price pool of ESL 1, which is already pretty damn big. Like $250,000 is what these teams are playing for. It's a lot of money. Not to mention the location. Just being involved.
Being in Germany.
Yeah,
I mean.
Yeah, being in Germany is just the greatest thing ever, obviously. But it's the ability to actually play Dota in a football stadium like what we get at the Commerzbank Arena. And if you haven't booked your tickets for the event already, definitely do so. It's gonna be a great experience. We've reworked the way the stadium will be laid out too.
Toby is cosplaying for you, I heard.
What?
Right?
No. No, I haven't created the cosplay yet. But if I did, it would be awesome. Okay, I think I screwed that one up a little bit. Yeah, he meant to waveform on top of the Witch Doctor. So I can find the openings. But either way.
What are they doing?
Dude, I can't cosplay. I'm still losing weight. I've actually lost 5 kilograms over the last month.
I mean, there's certain heroes that you can always do better when you're not skinny, right? So you can put it the other way around as well.
What, you want me to... No, sorry, my ego is a very fragile thing. I'm not going to dress up as Pudge. It's...
Is there nothing else
it's already crappy enough with some of the nicknames I already got.
What about Brewmaster?
See, that would be awesome if I could just walk around with a keg of beer in Frankfurt. That actually be so awesome, but I could never get the keg in. Because of like the rules of Commerzbank Arena.
Or Tusk.
Tusk would be pretty cool.
See?
But you'd have to be in cold weather.
There's plenty of heroes.
You're a man of ideas, and none of them are going to happen in time for ESL One Frankfurt. It's not that far away, man. Like, it's really, really close. That's why all of our qualifiers are wrapping up. Chinese Grand Final is tomorrow.
Who's in that Grand Final?
We're going to find out at the conclusion of this game. We already have LGD, I believe it was. Yeah, sorry, Newbie. Newbie won 2-0 over eHome.
But the normal Newbie,
and
right?
IG play LGD at the conclusion of this game today.
Oh, okay.
But I say at the conclusion, it starts in an hour. So we'll have ourselves a bit of a break between the games. But we have IG versus LGD best of 3, and then the best of 3 Grand Final, which happens tomorrow. So, a lot of great Dota. I'm actually massively looking forward to the next game. IG's been playing so well. And LGD,
so did LGD
play like they played in the VP Game Land Final. If they play out they've been playing online, it's going to be some of the greatest Dota ever.
Oh, that's true.
The best game so far of my year has actually come from the Chinese Qualifier. It was a quarter-final matchup. Quarter-final matchup of LGD versus HCT. Game number 1 of the ESL Chinese quarterfinals. That was the greatest game of the year for me so far.
We can see Morphing pushing Raxus.
Yeah.
The game is still running.
Oh yeah, the game is still going while we're having these conversations. But Mineski's, they want to fight top lane. Morphling's finishing the game as well. He's taking tier 4 towers, while the rest of Mineski are fighting up on top lane. Puts him back to the point of death. Ancient Apparition, Vash will shatter out. They actually Culling Blade the Magnus on top of the hill. That corpse will take a long while to hit the ground. And there it is. GG is the call. Team Malaysia will qualify themselves through in, I'm going to say, convincing fashion over Mineski. So they will become our sixth team, our sixth bypass for a Witch Doctor. What is this MVP play?
I don't actually think that Mineski is going to pick it up. It would be too current meta for them to pick that hero up.
Is that the reason? Like, Mineski are just a bunch of rebels. Without a cause right now.
It's more like you develop your own playstyle. So if you don't have anyone that actually brings the hero into the scene and you get crushed by it all over again, then you don't get that incentive of, you know, like, alright, I'm actually going to pick this hero. But looking at the bans though, I actually think, like, to me, like, this hope of having Wisp I was like, maybe they have a chance getting Wisp. You know, Wisp can always like have that snowball effect. But yeah, it obviously is banned out by Team Malaysia here, and I think that's it's a good ban for them, because they realize, all right, like they actually have a decent shot against us having that Wisp. And the response here from Mineski is actually picking up the Witch Doctor as well as the Bristol back. It's a very common opening actually. It's not surprising at all. And instead of having a Wisp plus Viper, this opening seems very casual to me.
It's a lot stronger. Like, I know NIP were doing it. A lot of the Western teams have done this. A lot of the Chinese teams are doing this, where you're just able to get away with running dual lanes. Where you have someone like Witch Doctor and Bristleback, or Dazzle and Bristleback, like just these restoration style heroes.
I mean, it's the big factor to these two heroes is AoE physical damage. It's a lot of AoE physical damage. If once Witch Doctor obviously gets the Ganems, but it's pretty strong. And the pickup by Team Malaysia here with a line is just you have a lockdown on Axe, followed by a finger. It's a pretty simple combo as well, and you have a good support with a line.
The other part of this too is something which I know, like I cast with Fear 2 weekends ago, and one thing which he was flagging was the desire to walk away from teams that require mech. So you can use things like Dazzle and Witch Doctor to give you that life restoration without requiring to spend huge amounts of mana as well with the mech. as well as money to make that happen. So instead, you just get these tankier style heroes who have some regeneration abilities. That's why, like Juggernaut with a healing ward as well can be put into that category, because you're not required to get the good mech timing off. Always fires a full squad. You just make your heroes really difficult to kill, so you can survive that way.
5 seconds.
Yeah, definitely. No, I get that point, and it's not bad. I think taking Witch Doctor and mech to me has like, you have an overtime healing, like you have the sustain. I guess healing ward gives that sustain as well. Like if you get damage, you use the mech to heal you up. But in theory, like mech is kind of this 5-on-5 item. You go in, it provides not only HP but also gives you an armor boost. So
but it's only if you're gonna play like the 5-on-5
yeah,
style.
exactly.
Like
it often gets punished too much by split push.
Yep.
But Racer pickup, it's just like. We're like, all right, we just pick up the same heroes that Team Malaysia has.
If it works for them, let's give it a shot ourselves. But the downside about picking up your core so early on, like that's actually why I like the way Mush, like he bypasses the sniper for his second pickup, and he goes directly into the line because he understands like the healing over time for a Witch Doctor. How do you try and counter that? You just have burst damage like the Finger of Death. And heroes like Bristleback, they really require their mana. So mana drain is perfect for a lineup against Bristleback. You drain him dry, then you've lost your damage output from the Bristleback.
It's not that easy though, because Bristleback actually has a quite high intelligence gain, and having a magic stick, because his spells don't require a lot of mana. It's like, I get the point. It's easier to do it with a book, and I was about to say I would expect an A pickup because they have the combo. Against Witch Doctor, having the sustainable heal is actually quite good to have A as a follow-up. Now they have two ways of initiating. You have Axe with a Lion, and Axe, Lion plus A, so you always have the Ice Blast in combination with a Lion Finger or with a Call. It's nothing, like you never seen before, but it's a quite effective combo.
Not to mention it really strengthens the lanes here for Team Malaysia. When you can add something like that Chilling Touch this early on. I don't know if they can completely zone out the Bristleback on that offlane. I also don't know if they're just going to be the Bristleback on the offlane.
I mean, it could be. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
I would probably...
It's open for both.
I would probably aim towards the offlane as Bristol, just because I feel like having the focus on, like against an AA, having a focus on a Bristol that forms, I feel like it's not as effective to me, because you jump... Or like you want to sit in front and then you put all your resources into a hero that's gonna get Ice Blast Finger potentially. It feels like it's not gonna be as effective to me. Follow-up pick the Shaker on the side of Mineski. It's good control, good AoE.
Yeah.
Definitely very good draft.
I'm happy to see this hero. Lena for me, like I was actually asked the question. I actually can't remember who asked me this question the other day. They said, "What's your favorite hero to watch in the current meta?" My answer was Lena, because I love the way that she could just be so aggressive in the laning phase early on. Actually